Another game, another you, another me. We have some Age of Mythology here in the right-hand corner of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. It's up-and-coming star, fellow streamer extraordinaire, and all-around fun guy, Illuminati. His opponent today in the left-hand corner of the map. One Trick Pony may be his game, but he is incredibly good at this god. His name is Divine, and he is playing as Zeus. I only say One Trick Pony because there's this really cool feature on Age of Mythology. Sorry, AOMstats.io. It's your one-stop spot for all of your Age of Mythology stat desires. I'm here. This is just free advertising at this point because I just think it's a really cool website with a lot of really cool stuff. You can get replays and you can see who the One Trick Ponies are. It's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with being a One Trick Pony. I just wish that everyone would play random and then we could all just get along. In the top of the map, in the relics, we've got ourselves the Scales of Catoplepas. We've got minus 15% there. Over here, we've got Pelt of Argus, plus 6 line of sight. Not that useful. Over here, we've got that Dwarven Horseshoes, a really, really nice relic on this spot for the cavalry speed. And Archimedes' Ledger, population usage minus 1. Now, part of the reason I really want to watch this game is, well, one, I don't know the result. That's nice. But I do know you're in for a banger. You want to know how I know you're in for a banger? Well, there's been this build order going around recently. I'm not sure if Illuminati's going to go for it. Sometimes he is very, very, how do you say, ethical. That's the word going around, ethical. And sometimes he likes to make Sphinx. Some people like to use the word abuse. Personally, I'm a big fan of just like playing to your god's strengths. And this is a strategy which is available to Ra. And if you guys want to use it, you go for it. It's going to be also playing into your opponent's weaknesses is also a really nice way to go. But we'll see if Illuminati is going to go for it or not. He's dropping down that second monument for the time being. And we'll see what Divine is going to be able to do in response. Now, I do have a theory. Theory number one is Zeus doesn't struggle against this strategy. He can go for Centaur, he can go for Minotaur, and he can get a lot of them out. And the strategy, if Illuminati is going for it, well, I'm just talking out of my... I'm not really making a whole lot of sense because I don't really know. We are seeing a third monument already. But this strategy against Zeus and potentially against Hades and Poseidon to some degree, I'm not 100% sure, is countered by putting a whole bunch of villagers onto favor. And getting a whole bunch of Minotaur out. Or a whole bunch of Centaur out. Probably not the Centaur. I think they're going to get chased down and killed. Though, potentially, Poseidon's Centaur with the Spirited Charge are fast enough to not have to worry about those Sphinx until the eclipse comes down. At which case, you do have a certain ceasefire strat. Gavoth is in the chat saying he's got a new strategy at his disposal. Apparently this strategy is already old. He's right. You know, people have been making 4 monument Sphinx strats for as long as I can personally remember. I do remember a certain one Husk Soup. He had a certain Ra style of which he would make a lot of Sphinx himself on Legacy back when the favorite gather rates were a little bit slower, Sphinx were a little bit weaker, and yeah, he would still go for it because it's a lot of fun making myth units. Okay, Divine, going to be dropping down his town center over here. And we do indeed see the Sphinx, and the monuments are on their way. 3 monuments, bit of a late advance time. We're seeing another mining camp to come down to just make sure that forward gold mine is very, very safe. And this is going to be a very, very scary amount of units to come forward. But with the second town center, it is spotted by this obelisk. Very, very sneaky obelisk, by the way. Didn't even see it. Divine misses that one, but is going to be spotted. When you're playing against Divine, I mean, when you're playing against Zeus, you kind of know what you're in for. If you're playing as Ra, generally it's going to be a fast second town center. There is the Minotaur Rush, which is very, very scary to face. But generally speaking, that if you're not going to get hit with that Minotaur Rush, it's probably going to be a second town center. So you can kind of guess what your opponent's doing to some degree, as the obelisk will get taken out by the town center. And we've already got one villager on the temple here. Now, I don't know if Divine knows this strategy just yet. People say it's new. It's not new, but it's not. It's only really starting to catch on and starting to get use. Now, one thing that I love about this stuff is the hive mind, so to speak. The massive players playing. Oftentimes, when you come up when a strategy gets into the sort of meta, that strategy gets used a bunch, and then guess what happens? Counter strategies come up. People have to make these counter strategies. If the devs aren't going to come in and patch something, which, I mean, there's patches coming and all that good stuff, but then all that can be done is, well, figure out a counter. Now, I'll give you a story. This isn't Age Mythology. This is StarCraft Brood War. I know this story because I heard this story from a fantastic YouTuber called Day9. I love that guy. But there was, I'm gonna get the races wrong. I'm gonna get the strategy wrong. I can't remember the strategy. I can't remember the races. So we're gonna make it up. But there were two civs for the longest time. I believe it was Zerg versus Protoss or Protoss versus Zerg. Was heavily favored for, I think, the Protoss player. And then all of a sudden, seemingly overnight, a Zerg pro player came up with a strategy that seemingly flipped the matchup from like a 60-40 Protoss to a 40 or 30 or a 70-30 Zerg sort of thing overnight. Flipped it. So, and that's with no balance patches. That's with years of professional play going on beforehand. So, whether this strategy has no counters or not, I think only time will tell. I think only time will tell. As we've got a relatively quick heroic age coming in here from Illuminati. He's not going for the mass Sphinx. He's already got himself the Hierarcho Sphinx, running around with those, looking for some villager kills. He could go for a fast mythic here. If I have had fun with this strategy. I don't know if it's amazing versus Zeus or not, but I have had fun with this strategy before, where you go for a fast mythic through Sekhmet and for the Citadel to make your mythic age come faster, and Horus to get out Avengers, and then you can click Eclipse with Crimson Linen as well from Sekhmet to get a whole bunch of lifesteal on those Avengers, and you can just chop through a ton of stuff. It can be really, really strong. But at the moment, Divine, I mean, I think he's kind of gotten away with not very much damage, not taking much damage at the moment. He's got his Heracles in this spot, Minotaur over here. The villagers just hanging out on the back for the time being. Realistically here, Illuminati needs to get damage done. If he can't get damage done in this game, his game is over. He absolutely needs to. He's down nearly 20 villagers at the moment, and this is part of what he's going to be going for, as the villagers will start to move forward. Priest is going to be coming in to drop that, to help get that Migdol up. And the Sphinx, what are they going to be able to do here is the big question. Apollo to come through. We've got that Olympian parentage incoming as well. And more Sphinx to come in. Now, one thing is when you go to the heroic age, you do get a boost to your Sphinx. They go up by a little bit more HP and damage. So even though Illuminati hasn't really committed to any sort of huge amount of damage thus far, he has gotten himself tech for those myth units, and they will be very, very strong. And it looks like he's just going to be pumping these Deuterinos out. And funnily enough here, we're seeing Peltast already coming through. An interesting decision. Personally, you've got to scout out what your opponent's doing. if you see your opponent making hack damage myth units and making camel riders, your best bet here is to make hoplites, especially with Zeus, but even with Hades as well, because the hoplites, they're going to have more HP to play with, more effective HP to play with against those Sphinx, and they're also going to be able to deal with the camel riders. You're not going to be able to chase them around, but that's part of the problem. Oh, that's part of the piece of the puzzle to defend against, to work out. So we'll see what Divine's going to do. Now, Divine can always go into his own Minotaurs here if he wants, but one scary thing is if you do go for those Minotaurs and you can't get the damage done with them, so to speak, and all of a sudden your opponent with the power of Osiris can get a Son of Osiris out, and your Minotaurs will be very, very sad. But, I mean, at the moment, both players, they are just accepting an incredibly slow game here. Illuminati here, he still has to get this damage done. Divine is going to be, he's scouted out everything, right? He knows what's happening. He sees both the town centers. It could be a village center for all he knows. He hasn't scouted the village center. But Divine knows that even if it is a village center, he can still just sit back and it should be completely fine for him to continue in this one. That's Pegasus coming in. Illuminati, oh, he has completely dodged that scout there. Divine has to be thinking this is some sort of a fast mythic for the moment. I don't know if he's seen these units, but look at the Sphinx. They are incoming here. There's so many Sphinxes. The Locust gets dropped down. The Restoration coming through. Eclipse is in as well. Bolt onto one of those Sphinx there as the heroes will start moving through to try and deal with these Sphinx. Picking off this military here, I don't think it matters that much. What matters is villager kills, as the villager is going to be garrisoning into the town center. The Heracles getting the damage done over here, but not 100% best micro from our main man Divine, as he does get out the big, strong Odysseus to slowly start taking these myth units out here. I mean, you take a look at this damage, 27 hack, 16.8 crush here. The town center for Divine will be getting taken down, but still, village is alive here for Divine. He's trying to bring himself back. He's into the fortress to try and hold on. He can use this fortress to get out Jason and everything else at the moment, as the Heracles back in, hoplites to come in. And like I said, these hoplites, take a look at them. This is unupgraded hoplites, 192, excuse me, effective hack HP. Should be decent to survive against these Sphinx, but it looks to me like Illuminati is going to be continuing to get this damage done, but Sphinx are falling, and there needs to be an answer to come through from Illuminati for these hoplites, as the majority of the myth units have been cleaned up. Divine still with 20 villagers in this fortress. Illuminati knows that if he can kill the fortress down, this game all of a sudden gets very, very challenging for Divine, but he has the favor in the bank right now for another restoration. The villagers popping out of the fortress, repairing it back up. Sphinx coming around onto this side to snipe some more units. The heroes are out, very low on that HP, but that's enough to pick off the remaining Sphinx here, as the fortress will stay alive. And it looks to me like Divine has held this brutal all-in attempt from Illuminati, as the restoration to come through. The villagers will need to start garrisoning back into that fortress. It's back up to 1,000 HP. Hero's going to come back out and attempt to defend. Illuminati, 65 favor in the bank. And after all is said and done here, I mean, I don't know what to say. The game feels very, very close at this point. More hoplites to come over here as well and attempt to hold. Illuminati definitely in need of some more production buildings to continue the flood, but the hoplites more than enough to hold in on over here. Another Sphinx to come in. That's going to get sniped down very, very quickly by the Odysseus, as the Heracles trying to chase that one down. Jason is now out as well, and Divine is all of a sudden completely fine in this game. But the game very much in the balance. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of Age of Mythology I love. You get the defender, you get the aggressor, damage gets done. I think Divine is has well and truly defended this attack. So he's only a tiny bit in front on villagers, but I think with the heroic age in and everything else equal, I think he's in a really good spot. Well, let's see if he can continue to hold on against this onslaught. Illuminati also, he knows he's done the damage and it's time to drop a Townsend. This is perfect play from Illuminati as well. Exactly the right sort of decision making after the fact. As Odysseus pulling back, trying to get this stuff done as well. But Townsend to back up for Divine. And the main base, his gold mine has expired, so he's going to have to move forward and grab this position. Now, one thing that, personally, I don't particularly like from Divine's play, I kind of liked it for the first restoration, but after that, I feel like he probably should have pulled villagers off of the temple. He's now got another restoration in pocket, but realistically, this could be another 1,000 resources here, which could be 10, 20, not 20, but like 10 extra units, which is a lot compared to a restoration at this exact point. But if he gets a full population, then the restoration is really, really valuable. So a handful of villagers on favor while building up these units makes a lot of sense. But at the very least, how much favor? He gets 0.07 favor a second while being on that temple. So not a small amount by any stretch of the imagination. It's now Illuminati going to be taking full control of the map. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a game. We have an absolute game here. Look at these walls just going up everywhere. This is the Illuminati we know and love. He is an incredibly strong map control centered player. He wants control of the map, and if you give him that, if you're just going to sit there, he's going to take it. He's really, really good at this. As the Sphinx charging back in, another restoration to come through. And now Divine clicks restoration, but he sees the chariot archers, and he's going to be able to already make some very, very powerful peltas. These chariot archers don't have that bone bow. So you need an answer here for peltas. It can be very, very challenging from the Egyptian side to actually deal with this. There's sort of two really good answers outside of the Migdol, or three answers, I would say, with the Migdol. Answer number one is Chariot Archer Elephant with the Migdol. It's really good if you've got Thoth. Now, Ra doesn't have Thoth. He does have extra HP on all his Migdol units, so it's an option there. Option number two is Son of Osiris with Perfect Micro, as Illuminati still trying to break through on this position. As those Sphinx are getting taken down very, very quickly, the Peltas going to kill off everything. On the back line, as the Camel Riders will get taken down very simply by those hoplites. This is a very aggressive way to play from Illuminati. I think he should just be taking this map control, taking town centers, and getting himself into a good spot. But nonetheless, Illuminati needs to retreat back. And final option, number three, which personally is my favorite option, is Horus Axeman plus Chariot Archers and basically just pure Horus Axeman does actually beat this army of Peltast and Hoplites, and maybe even mixing in some Avengers as well. But Chariot Archers, Camel Riders, and Axemen, all of that stuff is a good option. There's the Chariot Archers here, trying to hold on. Hoplites ready to start pushing forward. Divine wanting to inflict a little bit of damage back onto this position here. Take a look at the Sphinx and tell me, these things, do they really do that much damage? No. Hoplites, really good against the Sphinx. Really, really good. That is a very, very healthy amount of HP remaining on these Hoplites for the time being. As Odysseus, Jason, Heracles, cleaning up myth units very nicely here. Over onto this side, we've got the Manticore coming through as well in an attempt to hold on. We've got those Peltas to charge forward, trying to take out the Chariot Archers on the back line here. Fortress up in the middle. There's a couple of mercenary to come in as well. And now all of a sudden, Divine, he's in the center of the map. He's controlling another gold mine. But he does need to basically break through these walls which Illuminati has set up. He's completely restricted. And that's this gold mine over here, this gold mine over here, and this one. Very, very importantly, Illuminati actually mining this out. So if Divine wants to move from this gold mine over here over to here, he's only going to get himself 3,800 gold at the moment. But even more so, he's only going to be getting himself, well, he's going to have to push through the Migdol as well. So this is really nice from Illuminati, but he is getting pushed back in a big way now. The Manticore are starting to come out. Migdol stronghold coming up on the back here. Illuminati knows he needs production. His population here is struggling. He hasn't used rain just yet. 60 villages. He's got the trade route started as well, which might actually be shooting himself in the foot just a little bit. Yes, his economy is getting bigger and bigger, but he's not spending resources on military units here, so he's not able to because he's spending it all on camel caravans. So he will be struggling ever so slightly here. As on, whoa, what was that? As on the front here, the town center going to go down. The Migdol over here is up 3,000 gold, trying to finish this one up. Looks like Divine says, I don't need another gold mine. This is enough for the time being. Economically speaking, he's got all of his upgrades looking nice. Over on this side, we've got a couple of, we got Bowsaw missing, but pretty much all the important upgrades in, and he's pre-queued them. So he wants them as soon as he possibly can. Now this is going to be a little bit of a trap from Legacy, I'd say, is with Ra. In Legacy, you only had the Camel Rider and the Chariot Archer getting boosted from the Migdol Stronghold, so you didn't really want to build elephants. But in Retold, you get the elephant boosted as well, so it's well and truly an incredibly strong unit. 15% HP on a ridiculously high HP unit already. How much does it have? Is it? Hello? I think I clicked a button. Oh, there we go. 563 HP unupgraded. 563 unupgraded. Not bad. Some might say not bad. Now the Manticore are out though. These things, very, very scary. How do you kill these? You've got Priest, Son of Osiris, Avenger, Sphinx, Pitsukos. Lots and lots of different options. But you have to do something here. Because now Divine says, thank you very much for the town center. I will continue to push forward. But Divine's unit numbers are dwindling a little bit. He does have another restoration if he needs to. As Illuminati has to retreat back. How many Migdols does he have left? He's got a fair few. So this one on the front will be going down. We see a very cheeky little lumber camp down the side here as the rain. First rain of, I would expect many to come through. Illuminati, he's got himself 31... he's going on 32 farms. How many farms is he going to have in the end? 32 farms going on. 34 farms if we count over here as well. So a huge amount of food income to come through. It does take a hot minute for this rain to come off of cooldown, 90 seconds. But then again, after the rain is finished, it's only going to be about 45 seconds. So you can just keep pumping this out at this point if you don't want to build those myth units, which realistically speaking, against Greek, especially Zeus, at this point in the game, you're probably going to be getting greeted with Bellerophon. So the best option is to not really build those myth units anymore and just use it on Rain, use it on Locust, and take it from there. But Illuminati going to have a huge boost of economy coming his way in this one. There's the catapults cleaning up all the walls on the back. And we do see a nice raid coming in. And we do have a Locust to come down and a revenge restoration there. As Illuminati pulls back. We still see... It is still 11. Oh, it's gone up to 11. So from 10 to 11 here on that favor. Villagers pop back out. They take a lot of damage there from the attack. As Illuminati will simply just retreat back. And the Migdol Stronghold going to go down on this spot as well. There's the Manticore pushing forward onto this position. Going to take out the Heracles, take out everything else. A couple of donkey caravans to come through. Hera is on the way. Osiris, the god of choice here. So no real... Effectively, if you go Osiris, you're basically saying, I'm not going for barrier units at all. And one option here might sound crazy, but after you kill off that Son of Osiris, is you can go into, if you want, mass prodromus. And that can absolutely dominate this Migdol army, if you can get, obviously, the full population and catch those units out. But generally speaking, there's not really a whole lot of reason to move away from Hoplite Peltast against what's currently coming his way. But maybe there is if the elephants start getting produced. I don't know. It's an Manticore pushing forward, sniping all the dead chariot archers coming here as Illuminati. He is getting pushed back so hard here, but now Hera is in. We've also got a forward temple and Temple of Healing. I love this technology. You really should spam temples out around the map. Once this tech comes in, it's even going to heal up the Petropolis over here. It's got a tiny amount of range though, so you have to be right next to it. At least Odysseus is going to feel a bit healthy here. But there's going to be 70 favor in the bank, roughly, for Medusa. I still don't know about... I don't know about building Medusa just on the fact that Bellerophon exists. That being said, if you've got enough chariot archers, you can snipe down the Bellerophon. Yeah, I think elephants are your best bet against this sort of an army, because they just got so much HP and so much stat that they can just tank the hoplites while your chariots take them out, and then the elephants also make it tough for the Peltas to actually do anything. But the Son of Osiris is now in, and that's going to be saying good night to a lot of this army. As the Son of Osiris pulls all the way back into the main base. But Divine, I mean, he really doesn't actually have that many resources here. We do see the Bellerophon coming in to try and take out the Lord Turtle, but Karkanos and Askyla now in. As he's going to be able to clean up the dock and live the dream here. Illuminati going to get all of his upgrades. I mean, we're now moving into a late game. We had the all-in one town center play, basically getting both players to equal. And all of a sudden, Divine holds, and Illuminati gets damage done, and we move into the next stage of the game. What a time to be alive. Argive patronage on the way here as well means a lot of fortresses to come. I know Divine loves this because he just gets... I mean, it allows him to effectively not need to put as many villagers onto resources. He's going to get a decent amount of income, or population, I should say, from free Myrmidon, which allows him to put even more villagers onto the temple, which then, in turn, allows him to click Lightning Storm or Underworld Passage or whatever he wants. As we do see an Underworld Passage to come down in onto this position, going after the trade route, going to be getting some good damage done. The Mercenary getting spammed out here for the time being. But over on this position, the Underworld, that's getting tied down. Where's the Lightning Storm? On the front here, as all of the Chariot Archers will end up going down. The Bellerophon to come through to take out the Son of Osiris. The Son of Osiris killer here as... Son of Osiris wants to go for the tower, but I think he just right-clicked on it or something. But the Bellerophon will clean up the rest of these units on the front. Over on this side here, Restoration to come down. Some of those Camel Riders, which do have a really big upgrade. The Son of Osiris does manage to dive into the guard tower here, but Illuminati, he has to be careful. It's locked off for the time being. but a whole bunch of super desert wind camel riders to come in, and they will clean up all of those peltas. A little bit too much micro at the moment as the Bellerophon says, all right, time to leave. Let me get over here. Let me get involved. Killuminati at full population basically, but his trade route has seen better days. His gold income is going straight into Mercenary to try and hold this. Can he bring this game to equality? I mean, it looks like he's held. It looks like he's held. It looks like Divine, he's going to get his trade route started up behind this. This game is going the absolute distance. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bellerophon over here is getting huge value. Realistically, the only way to snipe this bad boy down is to focus fire him. He's got so much HP, 850 with a ridiculous amount of power behind it and stat. But nonetheless, more units coming through. Killuminati not able to take everything else out. He's pre-queued out the Secrets of the Titans. I don't think he's going to be able to get that anytime soon. But lots of gold in the bank. Spamming out the Mercenary here. Little known fact is, Mercenary Cavalry, they do actually have a bonus versus range units, as the Underworld is now taken out, and all of a sudden, Divine will have to make a different way into this front line, into this back line here. Son of Osiris able to pull back, and those mummies coming through, getting good damage done here. On the back, the Mercenary Cavalry trying to take everything else out. We got those infantry units to come through as well, and everything from Divine ending up falling. But I mean, damage done. You be the decider of this one. The score advantage now taken by Killuminati here. Remember, there's a lot of population being invested into favor at the moment for Divine. But I mean, how many forts does he have? He's got 4 forts up. Just 4. Do we see any siege? Yes, we do. Killuminati ready to get those catapults out. But the army is still very strong, and the Son of Osiris Killer is back. Realistically, you need to have a siege tower out here, because that's one way to keep yourself from just losing that Son of Osiris on the battlefield against Bellerophon. Bellerophon charging forward. He's going to actually take out the mummies incredibly quickly here. The Killuminati, he's got to be microing this one. Son of Osiris, he's on the back here. Tries to pull back, tries to keep those mummies alive. Towers now ready to start coming in. One thing behind all of this, did we see Killuminati getting it? No, he didn't actually buy himself the Titan just yet. As the Hoplite Peltas pulling back another temple on the front. Again, I love this play, because you get so much health back. This Mummy plus Son of Osiris play from Killuminati is doing absolute work here. As look at the amount of minions he's going to be able to get if he can actually take down those units on the back, that is. Bellerophon is back in. Son of Osiris says, all right, it's time for me to get out of here. The towers, however, to claim this position. Given the way that Killuminati has walled up the map, it seems like this is the only position to actually attack, but realistically speaking, Divine can break through this in a heartbeat with the Heliopolis. It does not take long. So you're never safe. Never, ever safe. As the Hoplite Peltas still charging forward. But with the towers suddenly coming up, Killuminati does he have guard towers? He does. He doesn't have himself the Baluster Tower upgrade just yet. Very expensive. He does have that secondary rain here if he wants to use it. Another thing you can do is you can just take the towers and actually focus fire down the Bellerophon as well. Not a bad idea. With ballistics, does not miss, so we'll be able to take that out. Beautiful 35 HP of Son of Osiris holding for days on this spot. Killuminati's now got himself 5 monuments up, so he is producing favor very, very quickly. 0.23 here. Unfortunately, he's empowering the monument to the villages. You definitely want to be empowering the big, fat monument to the gods, if at all possible. Look at this, sitting underneath these temples. More temples to come through. HP is resources, ladies and gentlemen. So 300 resources for this. Not bad. But look at the difference in villager count. 62 villagers for Divine to 96 for Illuminati. Part of the reason why Divine can do this, he's also got 15 villagers on favor, mind you, and a decent amount of trade at 58 gold per trade trip there. But the reason he can do it is mostly just these, well, I mean, the Medusa are very, very strong. But I'd say it's mostly from the hill forts, or not the hill forts, but the fortresses, getting out a whole bunch of dudes. As the Son of Osiris finally getting sniped down. But Illuminati, he's set up his tower death wall here. 20 towers in a dream. That's a lot of towers. But the army needs to fight underneath them. And they are unfortunately targeting down a temple. But Illuminati appearing to understand what these temples actually mean. He's going to try and take them out, slow down that HP regen. And yet again, we see upgrades coming in, the big ones. And champion elephants now coming in. Elephants make a lot of sense here. Another thing that makes a lot of sense is a Titan, if you can get that out. But then again, the resources seem to be there for Divine at the moment. How much damage does that special do? 400 Divine. Brutal. I think the problem here for Illuminati is just too many villagers, too much trade. Does he have this one empowered? Yes, he does. Big Pharaoh on this back position, getting a lot of gold. He's going to have so many resources in the back. There is a world here where one way to play this is to try and get out of wonder. Because you've got so much more income than your opponent. If you can just hold with buildings and towers and things like that, could be an idea. But Illuminati doing what Illuminati does best. Getting in onto the side build here. Starting some Migdol siege works over here as well. It will get spotted if Divine is paying attention here. He sees the blue popping up over there. He's got the entirety of his map scouted. And funnily enough, we're still not seeing the Six of the Titans. Mummies coming through. Chariot Archers coming in. 6 Migdols up for Illuminati at the moment as the towers will slowly get sieged down by heavy Petrobolus. Now we do see a mass amount of axemen as Illuminati says it's time to try it out without, I mean, I guess he doesn't really need to have Horus. Horus allows you to take the buildings out afterwards, but he doesn't have Thar either, which is a big, big problem. That's missing a huge amount of late game damage for those axemen to sort of get the damage done and function. But he charges forward. The mummies on the back here. A little bit worse for wear. There's more towers to come in. And now, after all is said and done, Divine is the one to get himself the Titan out first and foremost. We do have a heavy siege tower rolling through, tanking up quite a bit of damage here, but does end up falling. Meanwhile, over on this side, the side build has started. Walls up. He's going to need towers or something. Bellerophon can come over and make life very, very sad for Illuminati on that left position there. Meanwhile, in the main base here, the Titan Gate going to be coming down. This does not get spotted. Oh, he does have line of sight on the walls just outside of that, though. Illuminati will be able to take down some fortresses here, take down some houses, try and slow this big, fat Greek ball of doom down. Catapult's killing off more stuff over here. Over on this side, I mean, the hoplites, they get bonus versus the mercenary cav. So, I mean, you gotta, mercenary infantry makes some sense. I don't really have that much damage though, but it's free population, I guess. But there's just not that much. There's not that much income that's coming through from those camel trade caravans at the moment. So the fortress ends up going down. And it looks to me like Divine is going to be able to break through here. That Titan Gate, 125 seconds remaining. And I mean, technically speaking, Illuminati could get out a whole bunch of priests, but I don't think Divine is going to be letting this one go. Unless these units over here can get some serious damage done. You might be able to kill off the town center. That's going to be big. For the army here for Divine now, moving over to the left side, reacting to what Illuminati is doing. But on the front as well, Illuminati's base, a little bit worse for wear. Trying to get these towers up. He does get Pharaoh up, priest empowerment, technically, from that Pharaoh aura there. Oh. All the relics popping out. Dwarven horseshoes. Not bad. But the main town center might be falling, but so too might Illuminati's town center be falling. I think if Illuminati had attempted this a little bit earlier in the game, he might have had success, but at this point, he really needs to somehow deal with all of this siege. He is doing a nice job of it. The catapults are in, sniping Petropolis down as the Titan Gate for Illuminati now going to come up. I mean, the question is, can he get it up in time or not? With Divine's Titan Gate being 45 seconds remaining, as the hometown center here looks like it has been held. But same too for Illuminati, as the Peltast all pushing back over here. One catapult pops out, but immediately gets sniped down. And now on this position, Illuminati says it's time to push forward. Push in one side, push on the other side. The strength of this Greek army is when it's as a ball of units. And Illuminati is working that out slowly in this game, trying to push back. But time is not on his side. Do we see a Pegasus out or anything to scout out where to send the Titan? He can immediately run it through and kill this off. The Titan comes in for Divine as he's going to be wandering across the lands in search of death for one Illuminati in this game. That Illuminati's Titan is also on the way. Does he have the tech? He does have the tech. So this Titan's going to do a lot more damage to human units, but it doesn't actually affect him in the actual Titan fight. That's Divine's Titan now on the way to go after the main town center on this position. Illuminati's being pushed back. The one thing that I know about Illuminati is he is a bit of a fighter. So if he feels like he can continue in a game, he will try to, but his main town center will go down very quickly to the Titan here. As the trade caravans, he needs those to be working. The Illuminati's Titan Gate looking like it's about to be finished. He's struggling to produce units here. He's trying to get the priests out to deal with this. As Divine's Titan kind of gets a bit distracted here. Going to take out the temple at the very least, as a Pharaoh does end up going down to the Bellerophon. Divine clearing up all of this over here slowly. The priest to come in, and there's that Titan for Illuminati. As a whole bunch of priests will be enough here to deal with all of this, but look at this queue for Divine. Illuminati here, he's lost his town center. This hurts. But he's going to win the Titan fight, most likely, right? So he's going to be able to get that town center back up, and he's going to have to rebuild all of his monuments. That's the big problem for him at the moment. Nice. Is it photo mode? Is it photo mode time? think we'll be going into a photo mode here. Doesn't get any better than this. Big fat Titan fight. Oh, but Divine, he's scared. He's running for it. Smacks the ground. All right, we'll do a fight. A cheeky little photo mode. Hey, bam, 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 and the dirt is gone. Everyone is happy, and we go daytime, of course, sunrise, of course. Beautiful. I'm getting better at this, I think. No? No one else thinks? Okay, never mind. Onwards and upwards. Oh, Illuminati not paying attention. He's got to get that Titan to actually attack the right thing. He's lost so much HP on that one. There's a Bellerophon also in. He's got to snipe that down. The town center will be coming back up. And it looks to me like Illuminati's Titan, I think it's going down faster than Divine's is. And there's so many units here for Divine. He's got so much more military population. You can't tell. 7.9k. The Titan of Divines survives here. And he's going to take the town center down. Most likely as well. As Divine's going to focus down those priests, the major damage dealers. Or at least he's trying to. Illuminati's main town center falls, as do his hopes of being able to make a comeback in this game. There's just so many units. The only real answer which Illuminati has here is killing off villages, killing off trade, but he needs the trade, so killing off a whole bunch of villages and just replacing his army with a ton of military units. But he doesn't have the reserves to make that happen. And all the villages falling on this town center, that's being denied, as we will be seeing, I'm sure, more siege to come in and deal with this. On the left side, no activity as the Petropoli slowly sniping down Migdol's stronghold. And in that moment, Divine manages to claim victory in this game. Very, very well played here by both players. Hats off to them both. Great strategy by Illuminati. Great defense by Divine. And then just a really, really well played mid-game by both. Unfortunately for Illuminati, not able to find the dub in this one. But Divine does what Divine does best. Gets his ball of units and shoves it down your throat. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a game of Age Mythology. Statistics. Lots and lots of resources. You can see Illuminati with the food, wood, gold advantage here. Favor-wise, very, very equal. Favor-wise, very, very equal. Let's take a look at this actual favor graph. Interestingly enough, you can see a big advantage cooking at the start of the game, but as the game progresses, it all kind of equals out. So you can definitely see that, you know, the way that this is looking, it's very close. If you get all your monuments up, if you continue to put villages onto favor, everyone gets around about the same in the end of the day. But nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.